Every 2 minutes, a woman dies from complications related to pregnancy and childbirth. An estimated 300,000 deaths every year. The vast majority in developing countries, where most women's lives are restricted by illiteracy, poor education, and poverty.
Women don't recognize the risk symptoms in their bodies, or if they do, maybe they don't pay too much attention and say that they will go away.
Most of these deaths are preventable.
Hola! Hola, bonita!
But fewer than half of all births in developing countries take place with the help of a skilled birth attendant. With the right tools and resources, conditions like severe bleeding and pregnancy-induced high blood pressure become treatable complications, not death sentences. Maternal deaths worldwide have fallen by nearly 50% since 1990, but in some areas, the death rates are still very high. In Guatemala, health workers are now using new kinds of training and outreach to save the lives of mothers and their babies.
Los caminos son un poco,
Welcome to Guatemala. The landscapes and the scenery is beautiful, but the roads are not so great. Right now we're going to Raxruha. Raxruha is 7 hours away from Guatemala City. My name is Solange Madriz, and I am with Global Health Sciences at the University of California, San Francisco. 5 years ago, there was no road. There was no asphalt road. So the road that we're right now is relatively new. Guatemala had a bloody civil war, and Raxruha was, if you will, a haven, because it's so remote, it's so isolated that a lot of people feel that they've been abandoned by the government. Now we're stuck in traffic. The reason for that is because there's a parade. It's a religious celebration of the life of San Martin de Porras. He was recognized because of his humbleness and also because of the love for the people.
In this area of Guatemala, northern Guatemala, the largest part of the population is Quechí, and they speak Quechí also as the name of their ethnicity. My name is Cristel Camposeco. I am the social marketing coordinator for CSR Guatemala. People here in Raxruha I find to be very warm-hearted, very hardworking, and very traditional in a sense. The women would usually stay at home while the fathers migrate to work the land. They are farmers. Most of them cultivate coffee, beans, and corn also, and the woman stays at home with the babies. Most families are very numerous. They have from 4 up to 7 children is very common, and usually the families start at a very young age. So we have marriages of girls at 16, and they start having babies at that age.
Guatemala is one of the countries in Latin America with the worst maternal mortality ratio, similar to some countries in Africa. Half of the maternal deaths in Guatemala are for postpartum hemorrhage. Postpartum hemorrhage means that a pregnant woman have a very flaccid uterus, sometimes because they have too many children, or other times it's because the placenta is retained and the placenta don't get delivery. Most of the women die in the first 2 hours. So this is why we need to move people to clinics to get the real attention to avoid that death.
Acción. Sí. Move. Move. Vamos a pasar a revisar.
Okay.
Ay,
Right now, we are in the clinic to reenact an emergency, an obstetric emergency. Pronto is a simulation-based training program that we put together to improve the skills of providers who deliver babies in clinics. Right now, we're preparing the simulation number 2.
Acción.
How to stop obstetric hemorrhage. Our simulations occur in the same clinic where providers work, and that gives an opportunity to have a highly realistic scenario. These are the parto pants. Inside she has a baby that she is going to push with her hands when she is instructed to do so. There's also a placenta. Here's the fake blood. We use low technology devices and only the resources that they have available in their own clinic. In Pronto trainings, providers learn communication and leadership skills that are as important as medical skills. Our hope with these simulations is to prevent more women of this area from dying.
Hola. Está con una paciente que ya va a dar luz. Aquí, aquí en la comunidad. Se puede.
There's a birth. There's a birth in nearby.
We were here in the health facility when one of the nurses got a call from the traditional midwife in one of the communities and said she had a pregnant woman just about to deliver the baby. So actually, we asked if we could go pick her up.
No, porque por cualquier complicación del paciente.
Myrna is a nurse, and she's saying that they have a lot of experience taking the pregnant lady to the hospital or the baby being delivered here in the ambulance. So when I walked into her house, it was amazing. She was really about to have the baby. I could notice that she was in a lot of pain. We tried to ask her some questions about her situation, but she could not really speak. But luckily, there was her husband, Raul, who really talked us through the situation, said that she was in the last period of her pregnancy, so that she was just ready.
This is Aurelia, and she's 21 years old. Aurelia was very satisfied to see the ambulance because she was feeling very exhausted and dizzy and thought that it was not also a good idea to deliver at home. So they decided to bring her here, the nearest health facility. Aurelia tells me that the reason why she liked this health facility was because the distance from where she lives from here is very short. It only took her 10 minutes to get here by ambulance. Her second child was delivered in a hospital, and she was not allowed to be there with the traditional birth attendant, nor her husband was allowed to be in the room. So they believed that this was a better treatment because they were allowed to be with her in that special moment in her life.
Hay dos.
Two babies.
Twins. Dos. Sí. Aquí viene otro.
This woman is having twins. Right now we're with two of the midwives of the Que Vivan las Madres project, Anabel and Carolina. Guatemala is a country with a large number of indigenous people who still give birth at home with the help of traditional birth attendants or traditional midwives.
We are here in Lucia Cal's house. She is in the last weeks of her pregnancy, and luckily we have all the team here. We have a midwife from the program Que Vivan las Madres, and we also have a traditional midwife to help assist her for a quick consult in her house.
A traditional midwife is a midwife who hasn't received any formal training, but has received her skills from generation to generation.
¿Qué más hay que hacer? Mi nombre es Carolina Ren.
My name is Carolina Ren. I'm a professional midwife.
The traditional midwife was having some problem finding the baby's heart, but Caroline could explain to her, just try this, if you can imagine the baby's shape.
La parte más difícil de mi trabajo es
The most difficult part of my job is to achieve the link between the traditional midwife and the health system. That union, that's what's most difficult, because there are many traditions, a lot of culture involved in that. So it's like a paradigm that has to be broken.
They have very specific ways that they like to deliver their babies. For example, instead of the Western style of laying down in a bed and having your knees up, they would like to have it in the vertical way, just standing up and holding up by a rope or squatting. Our indigenous population also like that the traditional midwife is next to them, that they can have a drink, they can drink water, they can eat fruit, they can have, for example, after birth, they like to bury the placenta, and those are very specific ways and customs that they need to feel comfortable and safe. Sometimes when they come to the health facility, that's not respected. We just have the Western style idea, so sometimes they would rather risk themselves and stay at home, but follow their cultural ways. Our program here in Guatemala is called Que Vivan las Madres, which translates to Long Live the Mothers. And it has this name because what we're aiming for is to give life to the mothers, to prevent that they die during labor. My job is to open doors. That's how I like to think about it. I promote the program, and we distribute our promotional material in the whole territory.
So right now, Carolina is showing the pregnant women pictures, graphic pictures, so they understand and see the importance of giving birth at the health facility.
We develop different type of workshops for women in the local communities.
Did you know that about 1,000 women die each day because of pregnancy complications?
Voy a dar 10. And we also have workshops with traditional midwives that work in the communities. We all have the same objective, to prevent women from dying and leaving their whole families in a very bad situation.
Our hope is that traditional birth attendants are going to refer pregnant women during labor to clinics. After delivering her first baby, the woman just learned that she was having twins. And as we can see now, this team of 4 people just successfully delivered her second baby. Los dos son niños. You just had 2 baby boys.
Lindo, felicidades.
For me personally, it was a very nerve-wracking situation because the woman was not only pregnant of 1 baby, but 2. And I knew it was a highly risky pregnancy. Even though I was nervous, I was happy to see that our own professional midwives were there to take care of the pregnant woman and the baby. At the same time, I was happy to see that the traditional birth attendant, the person who would have been taking care of the woman, was allowed to be in the room, as well as her husband and other family members. I was excited to see that the provider who was attending the birth was using the skills he had learned a month ago.
The concentration, the patience to act, to wait for the precise moment and then react with confidence. Now I'm going to have the pride of having delivered these 2 babies.
Okay, so this was a healthy, regular delivery.
Volver a revivir ese momento para mí fue muy importante.
Reliving that moment was very important to me. And as a woman, I felt proud to be assisting a woman in the birth of her 2 babies. I think that she felt the support that has not really been put into practice here. And that's what we are aiming for with the presence of professional midwives in each health facility.
The debriefs are the heart of the training program where all the learning occurs. During debriefs, participants watch the video and then as a group they identify the things that they did well and also the things that went wrong.
We have mothers dying during labor for preventable causes. So that's why we're trying to make these positive changes that are quite easy if we all work like a little clock. Everyone is contributing in their own part.
I would like to ask you, who of you would like to give birth in the health facility?
We are working to change behavior in this indigenous population. They have more than 500 years getting birth at home. Traditional birth attendants in Guatemala are necessary. They are really a good staff.
She's saying, oh my God, it looks like his dad.
We don't know what will be happening if they don't exist. The problem is when they have a complication during deliveries. We need to train people in health service, but also we need to work with community to come to the health service and get the deliveries. And this is the package.
The day after the delivery, we went back to the clinic to visit the mother and the twins. So here we have the professional nurse who attended the birth. He received pronto training last September, and he's doing a general checkup of the babies. The twins look healthy, and they're very vigorous, and they have beautiful colors. Her mom told me that they've been eating every 15 to 20 minutes. She's been active for the past hours feeding both babies. Because there were no complications, we were able to accompany the mother to her home, where there were a group of family and friends waiting for them to meet for the very first time the twins. It was a very emotional moment for me to come here with 2 newborns. And the fact that all the family were here and they were doing this ritual, the candles, and they were so friendly, and the things that they were saying, they were blessing the babies. Dos. Dos. And even though they were not my babies, because I was there when they were born, I felt very involved. It was very, very moving, and it went directly to my heart.
A tus bebés, muchas gracias. Y a ustedes les deseamos todo lo mejor.
During moments like this ones is when all the work, all the planning, and all the obstacles that we face in Guatemala seems worthwhile.